Hey kids, welcome to Hughes History. You know what time it is? It's time for the learning on the YouTubes. That's right guys, tonight we're going to hit up concerning the General Power of Taxation, Alexander Hamilton and Federalist number 30. I know you libertarians are going to have many strokes as we talk about his call for the unlimited power of the federal government to tax. Well, kind of the unlimited power. Why don't we take a look at it and we'll just say giddy up for the learning. Here we go. So Hamilton's the money man, Momo Hamilton, and he's really worried about money under the Articles of Confederation. That's why he's arguing for this new constitution in the Federalist Papers, because he believes that the lack of the national government's ability to collect taxes, its inability to collect internal taxes, is a major negative. Not only for the most obvious reasons that if there's some emergency, right, like a fire, there's going to be no money to get the water. And this would be like a Shays Rebellion kind of scenario. But also that if the federal government doesn't have the ability to really collect taxes, if it's, dealing with states that are kind of on their own and sovereign, it's not going to be able to borrow money from outside entities. Other countries aren't going to give us money if we got 13 guys that have to agree to give it back. So Hamilton is really in this essay arguing almost for the unlimited power of the federal government to tax not only externally like tariffs, but internally as well. So what he's really trying to do in Fed 30 is address critics' concerns. And really this comes out of, kind of the colonial era. We all understand, or we should, that after the French and Indian War, the British raised our taxes because they felt as though we were British citizens and we owed them a higher percentage of taxes because they saved our butt. And the whole cry throughout the whole revolution is no taxation without representation. So now Hamilton believes that if you have representation, then we can go on and keep taxing you. So he starts with that argument, with the idea that we're not taxing you without representation. Underlining the whole freaking paper is the idea that the people hold the purse, that the people through the House of Representatives have the power to cut off the spending, to cut off the taxes. So even though he's arguing in this enormous power to tax internally, he's also saying that that's tempered in a republic by the power of the people, in a sense by democracy. But what critics are saying is that not only do you have the power of taxing, you also have this elastic clause. In order to execute their power, Congress is given the power to create laws which are necessary and proper to do that. So if you give them the power to tax and then you say you could pass any law in order to get that tax, that's an enormous power. And what Hamilton says is, hey, that's tempered by the people, right? It's the people in the House of Representatives that start revenue laws, that decide the necessary and proper. And then number two, critics are saying, what about that other clause, that who's your daddy clause, that supremacy clause? That means that you could pass laws that take away the state's power to tax. And Hamilton says, whoa, beep, 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 back that up. No, no, no. Obviously the Constitution is the supreme law of the land according to the supremacy clause, but it's the Constitution that's the supreme law of the land. We can't make laws to take away your power. That's not in the Constitution. So chill, baby, baby, chill, baby, baby. That's what this should be called. This should be called the Chill Baby Baby essay. And then really the third argument that he's addressing is really this idea of this really is a local issue. That if people are going to be taxed, they should be taxed by the people that live next to them. Local taxes only. And what Hamilton says is that this is really wrong for two reasons. Number one, if there's some sort of emergency, then the federal government's going to have to turn to these local entities for support. And that, in a sense, is putting the federal government under the thumb of these local entities. And the other issue that he's really addressing in this part is the idea that, look, the federal government's the one that's going to hold us all together. In national emergencies, and war is by far the biggest national emergency that all nations are measured by, and their ability to create debt in order to get through that war, we have to hold this country together by giving the federal government the ability to collect internal taxes. And he always kind of like washes that over a little bit by saying, but, the local people will collect the taxes, and it's, by the census, it's proportional, so it's, in a sense, it's very well controlled. At the end of the day, what Hamilton is saying in Fed 30 is we need a concurrent tax system where locals can tax themselves to deal with local issues, but the feds are also going to have a piece of that pie to deal with these bigger national security issues that are much more costly, and that is always tempered by the power of the people. All right, there you go, guys. Bang, bang for the learning. Have you subscribed to Hughes History? If you haven't, it's really a travesty, man. And I don't know what else to say other than you should press the red button. Look at the big red shiny button. It's really attractive. Why don't you click that, guys? And for now, we're going to say what we always say: where attention goes, energy flows.